Hello everyone, welcome back to Call of Duty, and this video is not going to be a regular gameplay video, even though there is gameplay in the background. This is going to be a video where I tell you guys the things I want and hope for the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, I haven't uploaded Call of Duty on the channel in a while, about 6 months or so. The reason for that is that I haven't played it at all in that time frame. Vanguard just was not enjoyable for me at all. I tried to like it, but there were too many flaws with the game and I just couldn't. It's the first time ever in my life that I did not play a Call of Duty through its entire life cycle. I decided after about 4 months of playing Vanguard that I was done and needed to find other games to play that I actually enjoyed. One of those games that I tried was Apex, and as you guys know, I fell in love with the game and got addicted. I am, however, a Call of Duty kid through and through. From COD 4 to Vanguard and everything in between, I have played them all, and this is the first time where I feel COD is in a real rough spot. But it's not unsalvageable. Modern Warfare 2 can turn it around if it is done well. There's a ton of pressure on the developers to make this game great, especially since we're going to be playing it for 2 years instead of 1. So let's get into my wants and hopes for Modern Warfare 2. One of the biggest issues with Vanguard was and is the maps. They were poorly designed and they're not fun to play on. The great CODs have their signature maps like Terminal, Raid, Crash, Dome, and Seatown, among others. Vanguard and even Cold War to an extent were a combination of old maps brought back for nostalgia and new maps that just weren't close to the level of those signature maps or most of those maps in those Call of Duties. Modern Warfare 2 needs to have original, well-designed maps that promote balanced gameplay, not too campy and not too rush heavy, aside from maps like Shipment that are meant for that constant action. If the maps flow well and provide cool but not necessarily over-the-top visuals, that alone would be a huge step up from Vanguard. Next thing on the list is the Gunsmith. In the recent games, the Gunsmith has gotten more and more complicated and ridiculous. We don't need guns with 10 attachments, perks, ammo caliber, barrel sizes. It's too much. Don't get me wrong, I love the customization aspect of the game, but it needs to be toned down a bit, in my opinion. I think 5 attachments and a couple of perks, and if you want to throw in one of ammo caliber or barrel sizes, that would be fine as long as it's not overcomplicated. Because that'll give us the same feeling of customization without the feeling of being overwhelmed by it all. And this is coming from someone who grinds the mastery camos every single Call of Duty. Up next, I want to talk about the visuals of the game. I'm not talking about the graphics, those will be fine, those get better every single game. I'm talking about the color palette. Modern Warfare 2019 was a very dark and green and brown game. It wasn't great to look at and the visuals added nothing to the game. I want the new game to be colorful and bright. Now, I'm not asking to make some crazy over-the-top rainbow Call of Duty. All I'm asking for is more vibrant colors and less dark, shadowy areas. Make the maps enjoyable to look at and pleasing on the eyes. Now I want to talk about something that has divided the Call of Duty community for a long time, and that is sound. I'm specifically talking about footstep audio. The footstep audio in Modern Warfare 2019 was excessive and made the game way too campy. No one moved until they had dead silence, which slowed the pace way down and made the game boring at times. I think the footstep audio needs to be more like it was in Cold War, and Ninja needs to be a perk and not a special ability that takes time to charge and you can only use a few times a game. The footsteps shouldn't be completely silent unless you have Ninja, but they shouldn't be super loud either. There should be a range, maybe 10 to 15 meters, where you can hear footsteps, but they aren't loud, and the footsteps that are out of that range, you shouldn't be able to hear them at all. This will keep the game from being way too campy and promote the balance that the game needs. Next, let's talk about the most controversial topic in Call of Duty: skill-based matchmaking and team balancing. Now, saying remove skill-based matchmaking, it's beating a dead horse and it's just not going to happen. Instead, I believe it needs to be tweaked. Getting good at a game because you put in the time to improve should not be punished. I believe that skill-based matchmaking needs to be softened a bit. No one should be put through the frustration of terrible teammates while trying to fight the sweatiest players known to man. I understand that the developers don't want the newcomers to just get stomped, but the veteran Call of Duty player should not be penalized either. There has to be a middle ground, and this game desperately needs to find it. It would make the game enjoyable for both the veterans and the newbies. The next thing on my list is something that affected Call of Duty more than anything in its history: Warzone. The birth and subsequent explosion in popularity of Call of Duty's brand new Battle Royale affected the multiplayer aspect of the game tremendously. It seemed like all the developers cared about was Warzone and multiplayer was just an afterthought. This has to change for Modern Warfare 2 to be successful. The developers need to put as much attention into multiplayer as they do in Warzone 2, which is set to come out a few weeks after Modern Warfare 2. They cannot neglect multiplayer in favor of Warzone like before. The two must be treated equally with as much attention going into one as the other. Now the next thing I want to talk about affects both Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2. I'm talking about bug fixes and weapon balancing. It felt like whenever there was a game-breaking bug or overpowered weapon, it took months for the developers to fix it. That can't keep happening. Not only is it bad for the health of the game, but it sends a message to the community that the developers don't care. These issues need to be ironed out quickly, not only in Modern Warfare 2, but also in Warzone 2. If the pattern continues where it takes months for guns to be balanced and bugs to be fixed, the game will get stale quickly and players will get frustrated even faster. Now I know this isn't easy and not all bugs can be fixed in hours, but it should be a day or two max. Another important factor in the next Call of Duty will be time to kill. This, for those who don't know, is the amount of time on average it takes to kill an opponent from the moment you press the trigger. The time to kill in Modern Warfare 2019 and Vanguard is insanely fast, and that takes away the ability to get to cover or make cool reaction plays, because if you don't get the first shot off, you're just dead. This needs to be adjusted and the time to kill needs to be increased, but not too much. The time to kill in Cold War, for example, was way too long and it made weapon balancing impossible. All the semi-autos were super weak and most of the full autos were as well. It made snipers and LMGs overpowered and everyone just abused them. The developers need to find a middle ground between the two. This would greatly increase the pace and feel of the game. The developers also have to handle hackers more effectively. The release of the Ricochet anti-cheat was much anticipated and has had a mixed reaction among the community. Hackers were out of control and the new anti-cheat aimed to take them down. To be fair, it did a pretty good job, but the hackers are still out there terrorizing lobbies. Modern Warfare 2 needs to be a game that is free of this issue. Now, I know the hackers won't ever be gone completely, but if the hacking issues persist in Modern Warfare 2, and especially Warzone 2, as it did in the predecessors that were Modern Warfare 2019 and the first Warzone, it will drive people away. The new game will obviously be integrated with Ricochet, and hopefully they have made improvements to an already pretty good anti-cheat. When Call of Duty Vanguard and Cold War before it came out, they had no ranked modes. The ranked playlist wasn't added until months after release. In Modern Warfare 2, ranked needs to be in the game from the beginning. Give the players who enjoy competitive a reason to grind right off the rip. The developers need to learn from the mistakes of games like Halo, which has been an underwhelming failure, and not release an unfinished product. Warzone 2 needs to have a ranked mode as well. The community has been clamoring for Warzone ranked, and what better time to introduce it than with the release of Warzone 2. It's the perfect time to drop a ranked battle royale mode for players to sink their teeth into. While we're on the topic of modes, there are some other modes that need to be in Modern Warfare 2. To start off with, a shipment 24/7, shoot house 24/7, shoot the ship 24/7 type of mode needs to be in the game off rip. Do not make us wait a month or two to be able to really start the camo grind. Another mode that needs to make a return is gunfight. Modern Warfare 2019's 2v2, 3v3 gunfight mode was a hit among the community, but it was removed in Vanguard and replaced with Champions Hill, and that mode just was not it, and gunfight needs to return. That, along with the new DMZ mode reportedly coming to Modern Warfare 2, and the normal modes like Search and Destroy, Gun Game, and Free For All, among others, would give the game a diverse and fun set of modes to play. The final thing I want to talk about is more particular to me and anyone who does the Mastery Camo grind. I think they need to make the challenges more dynamic and fun to do. In Vanguard, they introduced challenges that required certain attachments. That resulted in challenges being repetitive and boring. There were weapons where you had to get 100 long shots, then 100 long shots with certain attachments, and then another 100 long shots with another set of specific attachments. So essentially, you had to get 300 long shots with the same weapon, which is insane. Challenges like that, and also ones like having to get a certain number of mounted kills like in Modern Warfare 2019, promotes camping and slows the game down. It makes getting the Mastery Camo feel tedious instead of like a challenge. So all I'm asking is to make it a little more fun to unlock the Mastery Camo. So those were my wants and hopes for Modern Warfare 2, which is set to release in about 2 months. I'm excited and cautiously optimistic that this game will bring me back to being the Call of Duty kid that I am at heart. This game is a huge step for COD, and whether that step is forward or backward is up to the developers. If the reports are true that this game will have a 2-year life cycle instead of 1, then this needs to be a game that is received extremely well by the community. All the pressures on the developers to bring Call of Duty back to what it was. You can bet I will be there on release, and I will be uploading it right here as soon as it drops. Let me know your guys' wants and hopes for Modern Warfare 2 in the comments below. I would love to read the things I missed or didn't even think of that you guys want. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, or at least found it informative. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Also hit that little notification bell. I post pretty much every single day, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.